everyone, I'm Rochelle Chernowski. This is Shell Point Today for Thursday, August 1st. On today's show, FineMark Bank will show us where a new ATM has been installed at Shell Point. We'll also talk to Paul Peterson of Rosemont, who spent decades collecting stamps, eventually growing to more than 1 million specimens. But first, it's the first day of the month, and you know what that means. It's sign-up day. Peruse your new August issue of Shell Point Life, and then be ready to sign up for all your favorite events and activities starting at 8:15 a.m. Call the Island Service Desk at 454-2282 or the Woodlands Service Desk at 454-2054. Well, if you live at the Woodlands and you're a customer of FineMark Bank, then life just got a whole lot easier for you. FineMark recently installed an ATM at the Woodlands Commons so you can get cash when you need it. The machine even has an audio jack, so those with hearing impairments can use it as well. We asked Tiffany Williams to show us this new ATM.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Williams, Managing Executive at FineMark Bank at Shell Point. You asked and we listened. We're here to present our newest addition, the ATM at the Woodlands. So not only are you able to get cash out on the island, but now at the Woodlands. So this new ATM that we've installed is free for FineMark clients and $3.50 for non-FineMark clients. This machine works with any debit card, MasterCard, or Visa. Please be sure to check with your bank if you are not a FineMark client regarding additional fees that may apply. This ATM will dispense cash. You can do a balance inquiry. However, it does not accept deposits. Our ATM is also ADA compliant. It has available components for the hearing and vision impaired. FineMark Bank has a limit of $500 per transaction at an ATM. It's best to check with your bank to see what your cash limits might be. We hope that this new ATM at the Woodlands is an easy and efficient way for you to get cash. As always, we want to be responsive to your needs here at Shell Point. If you have any other comments or suggestions for us, please don't hesitate to give us a call at 239-461-5999. With FineMark Bank, I'm Tiffany Williams. Have a great day.
In your new issue of Shell Point Life, you'll find an article about Paul Peterson, who has been collecting stamps ever since he was a little boy. His collection eventually surpassed 1 million stamps, including every first-day stamp the U.S. Postal Service ever released. Of course, one consequence of collecting 1 million stamps is that you need a place to put them all, and Paul's stamps overflowed into books, binders, tubs, boxes, and piles throughout his apartment. Earlier this year, Paul decided to donate 500,000 stamps to the Shell Point Stamp Ministry and sold most of the rest to stamp dealers. However, before he parted with these tiny historical artifacts, he sat down with Shell Point TV and showed us some of the highlights of his lifetime collection of stamps.
My father started before I ever knew it. He worked for the post office in Chicago. And they have a dead letter office, and those who wanted to could go down there after a certain period of time when the letter was undeliverable and take what envelopes they wanted and take the stamps, soak the stamps off the envelopes, and use them in their stamp collection. He was one of them. He started in 1932 with a stamp that was issued for the Olympics in Los Angeles. And every issue that came out, he got the ticket, he got the cover with my address on it, 8234 Champlain, Chicago, Illinois. So I collected first day covers from 1932 to year 2000. So first day cover of every stamp the United States issued in that spread. My mother didn't like stamps because the way I soaked the stamps off the envelopes was when I was going to take a bath every Saturday night. I'd throw the stamps in the bathtub, and then when they'd peel off, I'd put them on the tile to dry. So she really, and they left a little mark each time. So she really didn't like that. Just the thought of collecting them and enjoying them. And I learned more of history and geography and places to go and places to see from stamps than I learned from all the classes that I ever took on history and geography. Presidents, you know, this kind of thing, and it's a delightful way to learn about them. from stamps, and the birds, the state birds of each state has a state bird. There's a first day cover that was on the Hindenburg. It's your U.S. stamps, but it was on the first flight of the Hindenburg from Los Angeles to New York. And of course the Hindenburg crashed a few years later. So connections like that. Oh, and this is an interesting card. This is the first postcard ever sent. Please exchange the stockings returned for a size larger. Yours truly, some woman. So she was returning a pair of stockings. I don't know whether this was in the things or she returned a pair of stockings. It was rather interesting to find that postcard. Adolf Hitler. I was very much interested in that era of time, and I got eventually from collecting mostly U.S. stamps, but also German stamps, which showed the rise of Hitler in the stamps they issued. Hitler had a lot of stamps printed with his pictures on it. So this was on his birthday in 1937. They issued that sheet. Then I was also got interested in classical music, and most of the great classical musicians, Bach, Beethoven, Schubert, Brahms, were German or Austrian background. So that I got the two sides to why I'd be interested in not just the stamp, but the person that was on the stamp. Yeah, well, I kept them part of the closet when we were in Chicago, and then I even expanded into the garage when we moved out east with all the books and albums that I had. So, under the bed, everywhere. Yeah. In the house right now, there are over 1 million stamps. The earliest stamp is from when the first stamp came out in the U.S. One was of Franklin and one was of Washington. And I have a mint copy, which means it was uncanceled copy of the one, and a canceled copy of the other. This is the set of the Columbian Exposition issue in 1893, from 1 cent to $5. And depending on the centering of this stamp, it can run anywhere in value from $1,000 to $5,000, this stamp alone. The other issue that I have is the Trans-Mississippi issue in 1898. And this set will probably be $3,000 or $4,000, this set. And that is one of the most famous stamps, the cattle in the west, in the storm in the west. The engraving and the color is much sought after stamp. I go all the way from A to Z in the countries. I have a set, quite a number of sets of things dealing with the British Empire. This is an album that contains British Empire stamps that commemorated the end of World War II. And issued for each part of each country in the British Empire, issued about the same design stamp, and that's what this entire book is filled with, stamps for the so-called Victory and Peace issue. I've got 3 or 4 German albums. Here's Israel, and as you'll notice below the stamp there are perforations, and there's something below it, which describes in Hebrew what the stamp is signifying. There's an island in the Pacific called Tonga, and they issued a set of stamps with gold in the stamp. I've donated 480,000 stamps to Shell Point Stamp Missions Project in the past, and I'm going to donate another 530,000. I think the right thing to do is to save a little bit of a collection. My Swedish album, because I'm Swedish background, I will keep, and part of my U.S. collection, but the rest I'm going to sell and get rid of so I can get the maximum amount of money that I can from the collection. I'm not a gambler, so I just never get tempted to spend my money in Las Vegas. Stamps have kept their value. If there's something you collect, at least you get your money back. If you just use them on envelopes or for postage now, you get your money back from it. And I got a great joy from collecting.
If you're interested in stamps, then you'd love volunteering for the Stamp Project, which meets every Tuesday and Friday morning starting at 8:15 a.m. in the stamp room in the tunnel. Pay them a visit, they'd love to have you. And if you know of any other fascinating collections at Shell Point, tell us about it. In the past year alone, we've profiled collections of Lladró figurines from Spain, antiques from Austria, tartans from Scotland, old-fashioned tins of potato chips, walls full of artwork, and a room full of children's dolls. If you know of an interesting collection at Shell Point, drop us a line. Call Jared Pike at 489-8431 or email him at jaredpike@shellpoint.org. We'd love to showcase these collections on Shell Point TV. For now, let's cover our Thursday happenings, menus, and church news.
Welcome to the Happenings segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and this is Suzanne Savata, and we're going to go over all the activities offered through Resort Services for you today. We're going to start out with a Health Connections class at 7:15 with Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That'll be held in the Health Club on the island. Then we have an 8 o'clock Men's Golf Association game down at the Shell Point Golf Club. Also at 8 o'clock, we have Round Robin Men's Doubles Tennis down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. Now at 8:30, you'll find those paddlers down at the kayak storage facility to head out for their weekly trip. You do have to have your own boat to participate. At 9:15, there'll be shuffleboard down at the shuffleboard courts. We move to 9:30, where current events will be discussed in the game room of the Woodlands. Then 9:30 is the time the ladies' match play tennis will be down at the Woodlands tennis courts. At 9:45, introduction to beginning line dancing will be held in the health club. And then at 10 o'clock, the Susie Q will be heading out to Grandma Dot's for lunch. Sign up is required. It's $5 per passenger. At 10:15, basic line dancing will be in the health club. Then 11:15, advanced line dancing will be in the health club. That's our morning lineup. Here's Suzanne for your afternoon choices.
At 1:15, Mahjong will be played in the library lounge on the island. At 2:45, we have a Health Connections, Balance and Mobility, Training Level 2 in the Health Club on the island. 4 o'clock is the time that the seamstress will be here for the weekly service in the Osprey Room on the island. And at 4:30, we have Alcoholics Anonymous meeting in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. 7 o'clock, we have Pinochle in the library lounge on the island. And also at 7 o'clock, we have the Trailblazers Bible Study Group meeting in the game room at the Woodlands. That wraps up Thursday. Have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Menus for Thursday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is burgundy beef with egg noodles and roasted beets. For dinner, it's the Crystal Carving Board for $10.95, and the soup of the day is broccoli cheddar bacon. In the Island Cafe for lunch, there's a grilled meatloaf on rye with a side salad for $6.95. The dinner special is Thai night for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Thursday are fried oysters for $16.95 or chicken caprese for $12.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
I'm Randy Woods, and as we end the season here, I'm reminded of what a great time we have had here in the Season of Praise as we shared with various artists, many singers, instrumentalists, and dramatic presentations that have been part of the Season Praise concert series here this year at the Village Church. Well, the last program was on Sunday night here, April 21st, and we appreciated so much the artistry of Nan Gurley and Bonnie Keene as they presented a very unique drama entitled Women Who Dare to Believe. And as they took many vignettes that they have written from their studies of the Scriptures, they have looked at various women throughout the Old and New Testament and have put their story in a very contemporary style as they've illustrated the experience that these women have had in their faith as they have trusted in God. Well, I don't know about you, but as the ladies introduced their ministry, they challenged us to think of times when maybe we have felt nameless or unknown. Perhaps you have felt that way. Be encouraged that you're not alone. There are many men and women in the Bible who are nameless. And in particular, there are some women in the Bible who are referred to as certain women. In chapter 8 of the Gospel of John, we read about that certain woman who was caught in adultery. And in Matthew 9, we read about a certain woman who was ill for years. Well, both of these women were changed when they encountered Jesus Christ. They were healed, forgiven, and changed for life. Watch and listen as Bonnie Keene and Nan Gurley dramatically portray the interaction and discussion of two certain women as they share about their interaction with Jesus. Here's a vignette of two women who dare to believe.
Are you saving this?
Oh, no, go ahead. Help yourself.
Thanks. Ooh, great weather.
Oh, yeah. You live around here?
Used to. What about you?
Well, for about the past 12 years, I've lived on the outskirts of town.
Oh. Sorry. I've met someone.
So have I. Well, tell me, what's he like?
Ooh, unlike any man I've ever met.
The man I met is incredible. I mean, and believe me, I was desperate. I was so sick. I'd spent all my money from my savings. I'd seen every doctor, acupuncturist, psychic. I thought if I had to spit and tinkle one more time, there'd be nothing left of me.
Oh, you were desperate.
Everybody wanted an appointment, but I got one.
Well, how'd you get in to see him?
Well, you could say I was a little pushy. I made it happen.
Well, what's his secret? Is it surgery, drugs, vitamins, special diet?
One touch.
Oh, chiropractor.
One touch of his robe.
I've heard of you. I know who you are. You're that certain woman.
You may call me a certain woman. He calls me daughter.
Oh.
What about your guy? What does he call you?
Well, he didn't exactly say my name. He just saved my life.
How did you meet him?
I was in what you'd call a compromising position when a whole posse of church leaders burst into the room. Next thing I knew, I was face down in the dirt in the middle of town. A crowd gathered.
I know who you are. You're the woman who was caught in the act of a...
Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. That's just not me anymore. I knew what I was doing was wrong, and I wanted to stop, but I didn't know how. I was afraid. But he changed all that.
Don't you just love it when he puts those religious know-it-alls in their place?
That wasn't even the best part. He didn't condemn me. He saw the real me, and he forgave me. He gave me another chance.
Just like he did for me.
Yes.
Met him.
Met him.
Healed.
Forgiven.
Found. In his eyes, I saw a heart of mercy.
Burning new life into mine. No more scarlet shame, no more secrets.
No more silent pain, I am free. This man is God. No more silent shame. No
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow as we look back at our community thrift store and its 2nd anniversary party, where everyone was popping some tags. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Thursday, August 1st. I'm Rochelle Chernowski. From all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.